Geez Louise, where do we start with this House Judiciary hearing on location in New York City, Manhattan, I believe. It was held today. Let's start with Daniel Goldman, that slimy little prick. He hasn't had the best start to his career in Washington politics. The lawyer who infamously led Nancy Pelosi's first impeachment sham against Donald Trump has taken his fair share of lumps, and he got some new ones on Monday. While participating in a field hearing on violent crime in DA Alvin Bragg's district, Goldman decided to call the entire effort a charade while addressing one of the witnesses. That's when Madeline Brame, whose son was murdered in New York City, of course, took him to the cleaners promptly. Here's a clip.
But that's why we are here, and that's what we want to emphasize to you. And we're not insulting you. Your experiences are devastating. But the problem is that this is a charade to cover up for an abuse of power, that they are going around talking incessantly outside of this hearing about Donald Trump. And the purpose of this hearing is to cover up for what they know to be an inappropriate investigation. Now, I look forward, many of you are
Can I
in New York
respond to
City.
you, please?
No, not right now, because I only have 20 seconds. I'm sorry. But I do want to
Don't
talk.
insult my intelligence. That you're not.
Hang on. The gentleman's time.
I'm not
Okay,
insulting
you're trying to insult me like I'm not aware of what's going on here.
Thank you.
Okay?
Time
I'm
belongs to
fully aware of what's going on here.
the gentleman. Will suspend. Gentleman gets another 15 seconds.
Thank you.
That's why I walked away from the plantation of the Democratic Party.
Committee will be in order.
Ms. Brame, what I would...
The disgusting smugness of Goldman just jumps off the screen as you watch that clip, doesn't it? This is a guy who was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, or maybe somewhere else. Anyways, he's had everything handed to him. Yeah, he's never had to deal with violent crimes or the repercussions they have on the lower and middle class neighborhoods. Goldman's entire life has been spent in gated communities and prestigious institutions. That's fine, but he should probably check himself when he's facing a woman who has had her son murdered due to the soft-on-crime approach Democrats have chosen to take in cities across the country. Just a touch of humility would go a long way in that situation. Now, is he right that this hearing was predicated on Bragg's ridiculous prosecution of Donald Trump? Sure, but everything has a catalyst. Does that make Brame's son any less dead? Does it make her anger at New York City officials who refuse to enforce the law any less justified? Of course not. It does not matter what predicated the field hearing. What matters is the substance contained within it. Okay, moving on to the next clip. Low IQ, should-be local city pool janitor Hank Johnson tried to play the same stupid-ass game Goldman did, calling the witnesses at the hearing props for Donald Trump.
Instead, like jackbooted thugs, they've descended on New York City using violent crime as their pretext. The MAGA Republican extremists are not interested in gun violence or even knife violence. The Republican witnesses who have used their time to criticize District Attorney Bragg have served as props in a MAGA Broadway production. The real purpose in coming to New York City.
Can we have order?
The real purpose in coming to New York City.
Gentlemen, will suspend.
Stop the clock.
Gentlemen, will suspend. For the audience, I've said several times now that the committee has to be in order. If anyone continues, then we're going to have to escort some people out.
Please don't talk Please don't talk down to us witnesses, please.
You know, I can't even imagine sitting there in that hearing, having lost a loved one to violent crime, and then having to listen to a pompous imbecile like Johnson levy bullshit insults like that. You may recall, and I will never forget, that Johnson is the guy who suggested that the island of Guam would tip over because too many people were living on it. Yes, he actually said that. And yes, he was dead-ass serious. Regardless, these witnesses are not props, and this hearing is not a charade. It is a necessary exposition of terrible policies that are causing harm to millions of Americans. Democrats don't want to face this because they know their party is responsible. Republicans are actually doing the right thing here by forcing this stuff to the forefront. And the more viral clips get produced, the better it is for us. They simply can't hide from the reality of the conditions their voters live in. This hopefully will be the beginning of a steady stream of similar hearings, and I guarantee you that if it is, which it won't be because this tactic of bringing blue city conditions to light in front of the ass clowns that made it this way is far too effective for Republicans to be doing. But if it did, as I was saying, Democrats moving forward would be scared shitless and probably wouldn't show up. You see, the reality is they got their asses handed to them today by their own damn constituents. Big time. So you probably won't see this again. Yeah, the hopeful rinse-repeat tribal soundbite material for MSNBC and the likes backfired all over their face today. To wrap things up, how pathetic and tired can it get? I mean, I understand Jerry one big nasty fat foot in the grave Nadler using the tired MAGA extremist nonsense talking points, but every damn one of them? Come on, guys. Do better. Be better. Here's a clip of the Penguin himself.
Recognizes the ranking member from New York, Mr. Nadler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Graham, you failed to note that as a result of D.A. Bragg's prosecution, 2 men are currently serving life sentences for the murder of your son.
Mr. Jordan, I'm sorry. If Mr. Nadler is going to make derogatory comments towards the mother of a homicide victim, he could at least allow her some time to respond.
Lady, it's not recognized. Hang on. Committee will be in order. The gentleman's time has expired. The gentleman from California is recognized for 5 minutes.
Pursuant to what you just said, I think it is important that you have an opportunity to respond to the statement by the ranking member that justice was served in the case of your loss. Ms. Blaine.
Sergeant Hassan Kari is dead forever. Dead forever. There are 4 people directly responsible for his murder. 2 people is not justice. And until there is justice for the murder of my son, there will be no peace. None. All 4, I'm asking for a special prosecutor to reopen those murder and gang assault charges against Mary Saunders, and Travis Stewart. Present that evidence, present that video to a jury and allow them to decide those homicidal maniacs, innocence or guilt. My son is dead forever. They deserve to be in prison forever. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Harrison.
Most of this came by way of redstate.com. If you liked it, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment down below. There's a PayPal link in the description box, so please put $1 in the bucket on the way out the door. I'd like to thank everyone for all your donations. They're much needed and much appreciated. Now, with all that being said, we'll see you next time.
Hi. Come on, move. Move. Easy. Easy.